Hello everyone, this is Shlok and I just got done with my stage 2 process at NMIMS Mumbai campus, and I want to talk about my competency test and my AI interview. So without further ado, let's get into it. Alright, so the first thing that happens when you go there, I reached at 9:30. My slot was M2, so I was supposed to reach at 10, but I reached at 9:30. I would recommend that to anyone. Keep some buffer in case there is traffic or anything, because since Bombay, it's a big city, there is a lot of traffic. Keep half an hour, just for buffer. Once that is out of the way, I reached there at 9:30 a.m. The next thing that happens is you deposit your luggage in your phone. That takes about 15 to 20 minutes because there's sort of a long line over there. So once that happens, you go to another passageway, you see what your group number is. Then according to your group number, you get seated in the auditorium. You see whatever they show you, which in terms of, they show you a couple of films about NMIMS, their other campuses, how do they look like, and sort of some kind of promotional material. You see that. Then after a while, you get escorted to the competency test room, which is sort of a computer lab inside NMIMS only. I think there are 2 labs for every slot, and one thing I wanted to make clear, there are only 100 or 120 people per slot. There is nothing like 200, 300 people per slot. The reason why this misconception occurred is because the board where group numbers are written, there are 29 groups listed down, but I think that goes for 2 slots combined. So there are not 300 people per group. At most there are not 300 people per slot. At most there are only 130, 120 sort of number of people per slot. So that is the first thing I wanted to clear up. Next, you reach the competency test room. I reached there we all reached in fact about 15 minutes early. My test started at 10:45. I reached there at 10:30. And after that, the test starts. It's a 45-minute test, something we've already discussed. 9 questions in the verbal ability section, 6 questions in the mental ability section, and 5 questions in the managerial ability section. Verbal ability section, we already know we have about 1 RC with 3 or 4 questions. 1 vocabulary question was very difficult in my opinion. I wasn't able to do it. And 2 para completion questions were also kind of tricky. I left them as well. So 1 para completion I left and 1 vocabulary I left, and the other para completion was also kind of tricky, but I took a shot in it with the one I thought was the most likely. So I left 2 questions in the verbal ability section. After that, coming on to the mental ability section, 1 LR set with 4 questions, then 1 strength and weaken question, 1 cause and effect reasoning question. Cause and effect reasoning, strength and weaken, pretty straightforward, can be done very, very quickly. Coming on to that LR set, that sort of really scared me a lot, and that is entirely on me. It is not like it was difficult or anything. It was fairly straightforward only. But I took 10 minutes, I couldn't crack it. Then I took another 10 minutes, then I was able to crack it. But some people were not as fortunate as I was. They weren't able to crack it in the second go. So they panicked probably, and they weren't able to crack that. So make sure that person is not you. Even if you mess up, make sure you are able to course correct like I was. And that is how my mental ability section came to a close. Yeah, now addressing some of the most important aspect that I've been asked about several times. Are there finance questions being asked in the managerial ability section? And the answer is yes and no both. One question is a blanket finance question. I was asked about a particular accounting standard, what that accounting standard is about. I, being a commerce student, I still didn't know the answer to that question, and there is no way on earth that an engineer will be able to answer that question. So that is the first very important part. The second part is that there was 1 assertion reasoning question. So that I wouldn't say this is a finance question. This is a question that is based on everyday logic, everyday communication. So it's not like you need finance knowledge or commerce knowledge in order to understand or answer this particular question. And this is the important part over here. I just want you to understand that not all questions are finance based. Some questions may have a little bit of commerce involved in them, but they can also be answered with logic. So don't worry about that. Maybe 1 question in managerial ability will be such key engineers would absolutely be stumped, and forget about it. Don't worry about it at all. Alright, now coming on to the AI PI part. What happened is, so once you get done with the competency test, you go to the top floor, you go to the, I think, the 7th or the 8th floor, where there are many rooms. Let's say there are 29 groups, so there will be 29 rooms, and you get called one by one. Let's say in your group, if you are the 9th person in that group, your interview takes place on the 9th number, so you're the 9th person to take the interview in your group. So according to the number in your particular group number, you can understand what kind of time it is going to take in order to get your interview done. So that is one very important aspect. So now I'm at the 9th floor. Also, just sort of digressing a bit, those capsule sort of lifts, they are really fascinating. Right before my interview, I was waiting outside the interview room. I was looking at that only to sort of keep my nerves calm. So that is one very interesting aspect. Moving on to the more crucial aspects, what happened in the AI interview. I want to talk about what happened. I get into the room, I sit in front of it, I have to enter my date of birth as my password in the AI system, and the AI quickly comes up with the first question. The first question I was asked is, you have amazing academics and you have a business track record also. What have you learned? So share some of your insights about business. I talked about standard operating protocols and how they are important in order to ensure a consistent service delivery experience. So that is one very important part. It straight up jumps into your interview. There is no introduce yourself, there is no tell me about yourself, nothing of that sort, blah blah. Now the interesting part comes, where my earlier conception was the fact that AI will be done, then the panelist will ask questions. That is not what happened with me. That might have happened with many people. That is not what happened with me. AI was asked me one question, then right after that, the panelist started asking me follow-up questions. Once he was done with his follow-up questions, he would tell me to submit my response, and now his response also includes the words. Now the response that I submit also includes the words that were said by the panelist. So I don't know how the whole AI marking is going to work, but my guess is the fact that the human is also marking us, and that marking is going to be the final marking. So that is one very important aspect. Once the human panelist is satisfied, he tells the that you now post the answer, then the AI comes with the next question. And now I'll be sharing some of the questions that I faced. One question was, what if you meet Elon Musk for 2 minutes? What is the thing that you would talk about? And what is the recent geopolitical event that you have been following? And tell us something about that. So I talked about how the US and Donald Trump is imposing tariffs on the neighboring countries, how that has impacted the Indian stock market as well. And one more thing I talked about was, one more question I was asked is, what is import tariffs, what is export tariffs, what are export tariffs, and how are they relevant in the current scenario. 12 minutes later, I was asked my why MBA question. Okay, you're doing well in business, why do you want to do an MBA? I answered that. He was satisfied. So my interview went on for about 13 minutes or so. So that's a little bit about the AIPI interview. So the thing is, for everyone the AIPI interview is different. For someone, the human panelist might not even ask a single question. For others, the AI, the panelist might keep on asking questions, and he wouldn't give a chance to the AI to ask questions. And for someone, it might be something like what I have faced. So be ready for all kinds of surprises in this particular round. Cool. One thing that I forgot to mention about is that when I was asked the Elon Musk question, I said okay, I would talk about how during cryptocurrency mining, there is a lot of burning of fossil fuels that happens. So how do we turn cryptocurrencies into an eco-friendly asset class? So that is something I wanted to talk to Elon Musk about. But the panelist asked me digital cryptocurrency is a digital asset, so why would you need to mine it? So I sort of explained that if you want to mine Bitcoin, you need to solve complex puzzles, and to solve those complex puzzles, you need a lot of computing power, and to fuel those computers, you need the energy that is given by fossil fuels. So even after all of that explanation, he said, is it really how that works? So I said, yes sir, that's how it works, like, to the best of my understanding. So he said okay, and then he moved on to the next question. So I don't know if it was a trick question or what, but this is also something that happened with me. Alright, so that's a little bit about what happened with me at this, NMIMS campus. The campus is beautiful. It's a big building. I think I counted about 9 floors or so. So it's very beautiful that way. There's a tea break in the middle of the competency test and the AI interview. And you get to interact with a lot of peers. I met with a few of my viewers as well. That was a particularly special experience for me. and apologies, there's a helicopter flying by, but yeah, that's one thing I want to talk about. So I finally got done with the whole process at about 1 p.m. and I would like to say that this is very effectively managed. When they take your luggage, they give you a token. There is complete security in terms of your luggage, so that's a great thing. And that's about it from my side. I hope, if there are any further doubts, please let me know down in the comment section below. As always, sorry, one thing I forgot to mention, do check out Juhu Beach if you are someone like me. Now I have a train back at 7 p.m. and Juhu Beach is right next to this place, this NMIMS campus. So I'm here. Prithvi Cafe is somewhere you need to check out. Then Ananda Cafe is something where you need to come, and then go for a little walk at Juhu Beach. So that's right, just 10 minutes distance from where the NMIMS campus is. So that's a little bit of informal advice as well from my side. So if I hope this video helps us, especially someone who's yet to come to the NMIMS campus for their interviews. And if you resonate, and for the people who have already had their experience, if you resonate with it, please comment down below and let me know about that. So bye bye.